another planet? Is Janet from 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 another planet?
We live in a complicated world, and I believe we, the people, have the right to know what's happening in our towns, cities, and states. The mainstream media does not have our best interest at heart, and I want to share some information from around our great nation so we can fight back by being informed. Join me each week as we go after hours and get behind the scenes to uncover the truth. The opinions you're about to hear on this show are strictly those of the panel.
Today's digital landscape with the spread of false information can lead to dangerous outcomes. It's crucial for everyone to think critically and verify sources and reflect on the impact of what they share. Let's promote responsible communication to ensure that truth prevails and actions remain rooted in reality.
The following program is rated TV MA LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome to After Hours with Chris and I, and we're going to be talking about some of the new stuff that's come out about election fraud and different things like that. So how are you doing, Chris?
Good. Grumpy old man today. I had to lay around all day because my knee got really swollen, and I'm not good at laying around doing nothing.
Oh, it's
But that's all right. I'm good.
But hopefully we're gonna start seeing some good things coming out, about this election stuff. But I know that I saw a few people that have been arrested for different stuff, so I don't know.
Things are moving.
But,
yeah, things are moving.
I wanted to start with this, even though it's not really what the topic exactly what we're thinking about, but I wanted to start with it because it's Nick Shirley, and it was something that popped up, so I'm going to start with this today, and then I'm going to probably do it again tomorrow. But I was shocked as shit when I saw this video. I was like, you gotta be kidding. New York and California are going to bankrupt our country. I mean, with the dumb shit that the people seem to just constantly vote for. I just don't get it, but here we go.
If you thought Los Angeles and California couldn't get any more crazier, watch this.
I'd like to propose that Los Angeles consider a pilot program for free hygienic sexual relief clinics, primarily serving the homeless and unhoused. This means equality. It means private sexual relief through masturbation or, where appropriate and consensual, with a partner. all funded by public tax dollars and managed with professional oversight.
Yes, you heard that right. Here in Los Angeles, they're considering a pilot program for hygienic sexual relief clinics. This means that homeless would have a location for them to go and masturbate and have sex in. So imagine a location like Skid Row right here. They'd have a place where the homeless can go masturbate and have sex in. Who's going to go clean those places out after a bunch of homeless people have had sex? And who's going to monitor the ages of those individuals that are going in and having sex? We know a lot of minors live out here in Skid Row. It also sounds like this could just be a place for a lot of women to get raped, quite frankly.
Well, I wanted to stop it right here because when I heard about this, I was like, he's right. They build a place or open a place and put beds and everything in it and bathrooms and do all this stuff, heated, cooled, whatever, and have it all set up so you can go in there and jerk off. Probably have magazines and porn available. I mean, who knows? Sex dolls. I mean, I don't know what they're going to have in it. Toys. And it's all paid for by the taxpayers of California and us, the rest of us, because we always end up having to bail out these different states. Oh, they're too big to fail, bullshit. But who's going to be there to make sure that there's no underage people there, young boys and young girls there, or people there against their will? Or are we going to be paying for prostitutes also for some of these people? I mean, I was shocked as shit when this came across my timeline. I was like, you gotta be kidding. What is our world coming to? Honestly, did you know about this?
Yeah, I know about that, and I know about a couple other things. See, we have some city councilmen in a few large cities, blue cities, that want to legalize prostitution.
They want to?
Yeah, they're actually already been voted into their city councils. They're putting bills in front of their city councils for legalized prostitution.
Is it so they can collect taxes off of it? Or do you think it's just because they think that, it would save money not having to arrest people at the Johns and the
I mean, when I first saw it and I looked at the guy, I'm like, this guy's a pimp. A pimp got elected to city council. So what's the first thing the pimp's going to do? Make it legal, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the impression I got from the one that I saw where the interview took place. Mm-hmm. And then I heard it was going on in 2 other cities. I thought, oh, Jesus Christ, man. Can't be serious, right? First, they legalized gambling, I don't know. I swear to God, I think I figured out a scam on TikTok. Remember I told you I never went to TikTok. So I went and I wanted to try to figure out this stuff, right? And I'm looking at the names of these accounts and I'm looking at the videos and they have things on there like 26 available and stuff like that. I'm thinking these dudes are selling women on the internet. They're selling women on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's terrible. I mean, Jesus Christ, what we're coming to.
I know. It's just this right here. I not much shocks me anymore, but this shocked me. Something else, because remember it was like last fall or whatever when I played that thing on the Friday Night Shit Show about the taxpayers paying for massages and foot massages and all that stuff on the side of the road with the homeless. So it's like, let's not worry about getting the homeless off the streets and crapping and leaving their needles and everything so people can walk around the city and all that stuff, or arrest them, put them in jail. I'd rather all those people be arrested and be in jail with a roof over their head and 3 meals a day than out in the street where they're causing all this. Look at the eyesore. You're hurting businesses. People can't walk down the streets and feel safe. I mean, I just don't. I mean, honestly,
I hate to tell you, but I've been an eyewitness to somebody going to a congressional office where the elected official is to give a massage. Swear to God, I've seen it.
This is just really, really sad. But let me finish playing it real quick. Here we go.
And of course, this would be all funded by your tax dollars. And in fact, here in California right now, they're even proposing a billionaire tax because here in California, they don't tax people enough apparently. And it has a 29% chance of going through according to Polymarket. So this is just some of the craziness here inside California. They literally want to have and are proposing to have government funded sex locations for the homeless so they can get off and bust a nut and have a masturbation session. A bit crazy. What do you think about here in California, it being proposed to have locations for the homeless to masturbate and have sex in?
No. No, the reason why is because, first of all, they already have places for that. They don't do it in public. Okay, it's frowned upon. We don't like that. Just
People
as
do it in
residents of
public.
Skid Row.
Why do you
I've
think
seen
California
that.
would propose such an idea, such as government-funded locations for masturbation and sex?
Government funded is the most important part. It's because it's a very liberal state. It's liberal. It is where all the liberal ideas come from. So it's one of the bases for it. Okay, it doesn't come out of New York City anymore. It comes out, even New York City is very liberal. It comes out of California.
Would you like to go clean up after a homeless person has had sex and masturbated?
No, I don't think that they should do that because it promotes it.
Do you think the homeless should have a location to have sex and masturbate, government funded?
No.
No. They're proposing it right now here in LA.
Oh, no. No. You need housing.
They need housing.
Not for other things, not for that.
Yeah. What do you think a government-funded sex shop, a masturbation clinic would look like here inside of Skid Row?
No. No. That's like putting guns and all that. You know what I'm saying? No, that's too negative. We want to put some positive.
You think a lot of women will be raped?
Yeah, yes. That's like promoting, sexual assault or anything. Yeah.
Pitiful and disgusting. The thing is that this is just over the top. I was really, really shocked when I saw that. I was like, you gotta be kidding.
Every time I see something like that, Janet, you know what? It makes me not feel bad that I tell everybody the world's coming to an end. Because it is.
I mean, but it's just,
when you see shit like that, it's like, oh my God, it really is. The world's coming to an end, man.
it's really, really bad. It really, really is. But that movie Escape from LA, Escape from New York, both of them are coming true. I mean, it's like it was predicting the future that we're going to end up just walling in these cities and just start taking people there and letting them live and let them fend for themselves. It's just shocking to me. But
my dad and I had that discussion in 1991. I swear to God. Yeah.
But yeah, this is the first thing that I was going to bring up for tonight. It says the Supreme Court ruled 6-3 to allow President Trump's executive order on mail-in ballots for this November's election to continue. So that's one good thing in the right direction of where we need to be going, since we don't have the SAVE Act yet. So here we go.
Supreme Court is allowing President Trump's executive order restricting mail-in voting to continue. It was a split 6-3 decision, with all three liberal justices dissenting. Supreme Court is allowing President Trump's...
So all three of the liberal judges said no. So it's like, how can they vote against the Constitution? You know what I mean? And they're supposed to be Supreme Court judges. How can they always vote down party lines? We have a Supreme Court judge that can't even tell you what a woman is. You know what I mean?
I know, man. Shit, it's Jesus
terrible.
Christ. I mean, tonight's show's like a comedy because you have to laugh, because if you take it serious, you end up in a mental hospital. The shit we're talking about. It's like, really?
I just shared in the chat the Nick Shirley video I just shared because I still am shocked by it. But this is I'm going to share the link for that, what we just talked about, the Supreme Court 6-3, right down what you're going to get. You can almost look at the picture of the Supreme Court and say they voted against it, and they voted against it. You know, it's that.
Can I ask you something? Do you really think Ketanji Brown doesn't know what a woman is?
No, I know she does, but she's not going to say that because that goes against the Democrat.
Okay, so I mean, let's talk about that a second. What is she actually doing?
No, earning a paycheck and for the rest of her life, as long as she wants to sit in that cushy office.
Yeah, but this is a Supreme Court justice who's not telling the truth. And all of our 7, 8, 10, 12-year-old, 14-year-old children in this country are listening to a Supreme Court justice make a statement she doesn't even believe. That's the scary part to me. I just wanted to say that. That's why I laughed out loud when you said it. It's like, yeah, she knows what a woman is. She's a woman. right? She's got kids and everything. So she knows exactly what a woman is. What she's doing is perverting the mind of our children. Man, do you know what the Bible says about that? I'm telling you, if something doesn't happen where people stop doing this, God's judgment is real. I don't
Mhm.
care what anybody says. You can look back over history. It's written in antiquities in books that
Yeah, but
that God will punish you.
sometimes I look around when it's really bad, like what we saw in Nepal, right? Uh, that and then a few other things, with the child rapes and murders and people killing their own kids and all this stuff, and start thinking to myself how bad Sodom and Gomorrah must have been.
Kind of like LA. I
I mean,
guarantee it.
honestly, to know that Lot went in to try to find one person, you know, to save, and it's just sad when I think about it, because it's going to get way worse than what we're seeing. We're gonna see it. We're not going to be able to look anywhere besides our own home, inside of our own home, to see, you know,
Well, after all the time I spent around law enforcement my whole life and driving ambulances and everything, I'm let's just start with, a little kid takes a piece of bubble gum from the corner store and gets away with it. Next time he's got to get a candy bar, right? The next time after that, he's trying to walk out of there with a whole 30-ounce drink or whatever. And they never can achieve that I did something bad thing without getting bigger, right?
yeah,
Well, you look at what happens with sexuality. You know, people should have a private place. I've seen some videos in the last week. I saw it where dudes were walking around masturbating on women that were trying to walk down the street. They would be working on it really hard and grab the woman and hold on to her while they were doing it. They start getting that evil eye, man, and that's when the violence comes,
but the
right?
thing
Because it's
is,
physical interactions between people, and it'll goes past sexual to violent. Then that's where we end up with the Jeffrey Dahmers and all this stuff that you were talking about last night.
mhm, it's terrible. It's really, really sad. And the thing is that it's the response of the cities and the people are the ones that make the difference on whether something changes or whether it doesn't. That's where it really does fall down on all of us.
Well,
And
I'm watching that the San Andreas fault. I'm watching it, and I'm watching the entire world as volcanoes. If before you go to bed at night, if you say there's going to be a volcano, it's going to be bad, or there's going to be another catastrophic flood, you know why you're going to be 100% right? Because there will be one tomorrow, and they're going on all over the world. And I don't think people understand that we're, I mean, Mother Earth. We came from Mother Earth. I got my Indian blood in me, and I'm telling you, when you don't respect the earth, and the best way to respect the earth is by respecting your humanity, right? They didn't have all that kind of crazy shit, man, when we didn't. I just found out from two of the most respected doctors in the world, and they're friends of mine, and they said that 95%, we thought wars killed our native people. It was malaria. When they came and landed, they gave natives a malaria, and it had never ever been on American soil. So there was absolutely zero antibodies for it, and it wiped it out. Even the Aztecs, right?
mhm,
There were like three Spanish sailors going around at one time, and one left a search party on the western side of South America, who made their way up to where the Aztecs were, and they gave them malaria, and then they marched down and met Ponce de Leon or somebody over there in Brazil. But when they went back, they told them, "Oh my God, you won't believe this place. There's all these people. They're beautiful. There's gold, and all of this kind of stuff." And this is in official Spanish log books written in the 1500s. They went back up there, and it only took them about 6 weeks to get there, and there was nothing left.
mhm.
Nothing. Not a
Well,
living soul.
I
Now
was
that's amazing. That's 100% of a society wiped out by disease somebody brought in. So
Yeah.
we're looking at all that right now, because of the COVID thing and how we going to prevent this. And now nobody trusts the doctors, and we're really looking at how many people have died and what killed them. And you'd be stunned how much of it is people giving it to other people
Yeah, I
that
was talking
that
to
causes pandemics. Yeah.
someone this morning about the whole thing in Nepal, right? And they were telling me that they were talking to other people, and they were already saying that they were in talks or something with China, the
Well,
country.
that
And
the river,
wait a
go
second, I'm
ahead.
not finished.
All right.
And she said that they think that it was weather manipulation by China to take them out to stop the talks. So it's like, you got to be crazy. I go, there's no way that's possible. Oh, I believe that they can manipulate the weather and make a hurricane hit right where they want it to. They can make an earthquake wherever they want. And I said, if that's true, then China, all they have to do is take out the caldera in Wyoming and in America, and then come in and take over. If that's
Well,
possible,
the thing
that's
about that, the
that's
thing
so
about
stupid.
that that's so outlandish and stupid, okay? Tibet is over here and Nepal is over here.
Mm-hmm.
Tibet is a country of China, okay? So China is not gonna, that's the sides of the river, right? You can throw a rock from one side to the other. Over here, you're in Nepal, and over there, you're in China.
Yeah,
So
but
they
you got,
basically killed their own people. I
yeah,
don't,
they believe that. That's what they people actually believe that stuff. So it's just that's what I'm saying. I go to certain spaces with people that I've listened to before and that I know are not going to be standing there saying all this, you know, dumbass shit, and if they do have anything, most of them will have facts behind it, right? Like I always try to bring up something that's on the news, or 4 or 5 different people are talking about it in Congress or whatever, with actual stuff behind it, to try to figure out, what are you going to do at home to try to keep this from coming to your town, that kind of stuff. But just to stand right now, when I do a show like Cosmic Talk or something like that, yeah, I'm going to use a little thing about Bigfoot or some other stuff like that. But that's the kind of show it is. That's why I'm an alien. It's just I don't know. It's really scary how easily people just jump on the bandwagon and believe all this shit. But I wanted to play this next because this is basically the headline. It says, if there is any single reason to pass the Save America Act, this is it right here. And I've been following Real Robert for a while. And so I didn't get to listen to the whole thing, but I did listen to a lot of it. And I really think that this is really it. And we, as the people, need to start writing our senators and calling their offices and whatever in every state that we're in, each state, saying pass this Save Act. So here we go. I wanted to play this for you. Have you heard it yet?
I think, yeah, I saw it on today, I think.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah, this is a mind-blowing chart.
Yeah, this literally blew us away. Like, we went there to find fraud, and we found this by accident. And this isn't political, by the way. My parents are immigrants. Yeah, this country's been great to us. My brother and sister all born in Spain. I'm pro-legal immigration. This is not political. This is not political. This is about America and the future of America. And there are a lot of good people in the system that pointed us in this direction. I want to honor them right now. They work in the government today, who took risks to show us these numbers and tell us what's going on. Yeah. So I want to stop for a minute. I want to honor those people today. Very good people. Very good people. I have been from D.C. to Social Security offices to the border to track this down, and very good people have helped us along the way. I want to thank them.
Yeah.
This number, what this is when you come in the country, if you're illegal, there's a couple ways to come in. You come in through a port of entry, and you can tell them you're afraid. They'll give you an asylum case. You get an interview, and you get in. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it is to just go to the border. Literally, this happened. I talked to Border Patrol myself. Elon was there too. I went to Laredo, and I went to Bronzeville. Elon went to Eagle Pass. You walk up to a Border Patrol officer, and you tell them you want to come in. They have a couple of choices. They could charge you with a misdemeanor or a felony under 1325, or they can make it an administrative offense, like a parking ticket, basically. They were told to do that, make it an administrative offense under the last administration. And you go walk across the border, they do what's called a release from your own recognizance, and they give you an NTA, notice to appear, which is to appear to judge. The wait times on judges are like average 6 years. Look at Grok, you'll see it on immigration judges. There's only 700 of them. This is 5.5 million people. Okay? So what happens then? Once you're in the country and you got asylum through one of these pathways, and we map the whole thing out, you can apply for a work document. You file a 765, it's the work form. You get this form called the 766, that's the authorization, and then Social Security Administration automatically sends you in the mail your Social Security number. No interview, no ID.
This is worth just reiterating. It's not people sometimes think that under the Biden administration that he was simply asleep at the switch. He wasn't asleep. They weren't asleep at the switch. It was a massive, large-scale program to import as many illegals as possible, ultimately to change the entire voting map of the United States and disenfranchise the American people and make it a permanent, deep blue, one-party state from which there would be no escape.
Look, if I hadn't seen this myself, I'm not sure I'd have believed it. I went through it myself and mapped it, and Elon is right. This is true. The defaults in the system from Social Security to all of the benefit programs have been set to max inclusion, max pay for these people, and minimum collection. That's what's happening. We found 1.3 million of them already on Medicaid, as an example. We've gone through on every benefit program we went through, we found groups from this particular group of people, this 5.5 million people, in those benefit programs. And then what was really, really disturbing us was why. We're asking ourselves why. And so we actually just took a sample and looked at voter registration records. And we found people here registered to vote in this population, yes.
And who did vote?
And we found some by sampling that actually did vote. And we have referred them to prosecution at the Homeland Security Investigation Service.
Yeah.
Already, that is already happening right now. Yeah. And the truly disturbing thing, though, I just want you to know this, a truly disturbing thing to me, and the darkest thing about this to me, the voter fraud is terrible, but the human tragedy this created is extraordinary, because what you don't understand, people don't know, and Americans need to know, that's why I'm here, is that human traffickers made $13 to $15 billion off of this, okay? That's the money that's going around the world, moving people around the world to our borders because of these incentives. How does it work? What happens? Hey, if you're in Africa and you're in Central America, you got to walk up through Mexico, through America. Who do you pay? You pay the narcos, you pay the traffickers, right? And we were told by ICE, it's between $20,000 and $500, depends where they pick you up, to walk across all those countries and get all the way up to the border. Where's that money goes? It goes to the cartels. It goes to human traffickers, right? There are 30,000 children that have not appeared on the notice to appear already. ICE knows this. 30,000 children, 270,000 children didn't even get notices to appear. ICE told us that kids are being trafficked back and forth across the border to complete families to make this easier. This is a human tragedy. It's not just the money, it's the people and the kids. And how many of these people died on the way up here that didn't make it in? What happened to them? We created a system here that created a incentive for people to come and be taken advantage of by these traffickers. And how do you think they get paid? What, you're in Africa, Central America, you got $20,000 or $10,000 or $5,000 to pay these traffickers? No, you don't. What happens? You come in, then you owe them the money. You're an indentured servant. If you don't pay them, what happens? What do? They kill your mother, they kill your brother, they kill your family. What happens next? That's what we discovered. And I have to tell you, it's tragic to me. The tragedy, the human tragedy this created is extraordinary. That's the real problem. This is America. We don't do this here in America.
Yeah.
We don't do this here in America.
Pretty scary when you think about it. Thing is that I honestly do believe that they planned on all of this, that they planned all of these things to work step by step. And they had different people in charge from the different administrations to implement certain things. And when they got away with the USAID and all the other wasteful fraud, and they got to go on trips and vacations and buy houses and do all the different things, just like what we're seeing in California, you say you're doing something with the money, but then you're finding out that they're spending the money not where they said they were going to spend it. You know what I mean? And no one's held accountable for it because we're nothing but a giant pocketbook that's wide open for them to spend the money any way they want, you know? And when no one's held accountable, there's no incentive to stop them, you know, nobody. And then the people just walk around going, well, there's nothing we can do. Oh, well, there's nothing we can do. Oh, well, you know, and so they don't do anything. They're not motivated to do anything. So nothing changes, and it just goes on and on and on and on and on. And I just, you know, that's one reason why I try to do it. I try to tell people, go to your city council meetings, sign up to work the polls, volunteer for different things that you have in your state or in your, you know, in your communities, so you can find out more about the people that are running the communities, you know, the people that are working the homeless shelters, or, you know, whatever it is, you know, donate a day to work picking up trash on a strip of highway. There's just so many different things you can do if you want to try to make a difference. But if you feel like you're the only person that's doing it, then why would you do it? You see what I mean? So that's the thing, is I don't want it to be where it's nobody, you know, that nobody's doing it, that nobody's offering to help anyone else. But I think most of this kind of thing started happening with the numbers faltering really bad in community services, like the Junior Chamber of Commerce, or I'm trying to remember some other groups that used to, you know, work in your cities and towns, different church groups and things like that, because during COVID, they were all shut down. And if they got caught doing anything, they would get fined. You know, a lot of churches closed. I know about 4 or 5 different small churches here in the state I'm in, just driving down 71 to go from, you know, up near Fort Smith down towards Texarkana, Arkansas. There's a bunch of little small churches that went under because they just couldn't stay afloat because they didn't have any money, because people stopped going to church, you know. And they were helping. They were having like food kitchens, and they would make gift baskets and take them to families that didn't have the money to, you know, feed their families. You know, just Toys for Tots. It's done by the Marines. I mean, all of these things have gotten smaller and smaller and smaller due to lack of people want to participate in their own communities. And when you got parents that don't even go to your schools to watch the children's programs or volunteer to help during recesses or any of these things because they want to stay home and be on TikTok, or they want to be famous on OnlyFans, or whatever it is, that stuff's more important to these people. And it's sad because that's what I did. I would take my kids to school, and then I would go and I'd volunteer somewhere, you know, doing different things. I even volunteered once a week just to go to the animal shelter, and I would clean their pens or empty their, you know, litter boxes or fill up their water bowls. I mean, I just did whatever I could because I felt like I was doing something. And when I wasn't doing that kind of stuff, I did get a part-time job, and I worked, you know, as a florist, and I did other different jobs. But I did it because I just wanted a little bit of extra money to, you know, buy Christmas gifts or whatever else. But anytime I could do something, or I've been asked, you know, to assist with a brownie troop or whatever, and I just don't see people signing up to do volunteers work anymore. I mean, do you know anyone that volunteers?
I mean, yeah, I'm around a lot of people that volunteer. Everybody I ever worked with in drug court, whether it was here in Richmond County or up in Sumner County in Tennessee, most of them lose their jobs, you know. They're like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And I tell every one of them, what do you like to do? Once they tell me, I get them a volunteer job doing what they like to do. And all of them end up either back in school because of somebody they met, or they ended up in a better job than the one they had making more money. You know, you can't lose volunteer, and that's my point. Some of the wins you get out of volunteering will change your life. So I promote volunteering, I really do, and I have a lot of people around me to do it. I do. You know, I do as simple as, like, when I'm at the grocery store, I walk my cart back in and put it back in line and wipe it off every single time I go to the store. And if there's people involved in something, yeah, I'm gonna help people. I'll always help people. You know, it's God puts us wherever we're supposed to be, and doing the next right thing it's never right to walk off from someone in need. You have to know that it could be you, right? And you want the same kind of thing that you would want for yourself if you were really in need. And we've all go through those things, right? Where we really need somebody, or just for whatever, sometimes just to talk to somebody, right?
Yeah.
And you know, I stop and talk to people all the time. Tell me your story, that kind of thing, where it opens up door for a nice 10-minute conversation. So, you
I
know,
mean, there's so many things in your communities, like you have a veterans building, you know,
oh shit, yeah, veterans a lot.
that that you could go and you just go in and say, hey, I would like to volunteer 1 day a week with your
Yeah, you can
with
transport patients to appointments and all kind of stuff.
and you just tell them you'd like to help. What can I do?
Yeah.
And then they'll give you a list of things that you can do to help. And, you know, and then you just do something and help someone, or even do the same thing at your church. Volunteer to go and clean the windows, or mow the yard, or sweep, vacuum, dust, organize shelves. I've done tons of stuff. I mean, I've just, like, I've went to Salvation Army and just organized the books, you know, and that, you know, I did that once a week, and they said, you know, we've sold 3 times as many books since somebody's fixed the shelves, you know, and worked on it. And I dust the shelves and stuff off and made it more appropriate. Things like that. There's little things you can do. You could even go to nursing homes and just volunteer to go to the different rooms of the patients that can't do anything and read to them, or just watch a show with them on TV. I mean, and it makes you feel good because you actually did something. I had a Shih Tzu, a little Shih Tzu that would just love to be held and petted, and I used to take her once a week to some of the nursing homes and just let the people pet her and hold her, and she just loved it. But she'd get so excited when I get ready to take her out and put her in the car because she knew I was taking her. And it was either to the vet or to the nursing home. But you know, I didn't have to take her to the vet as often because, you know, just get the rabies vaccine basically. But she loved it. I mean, she just ate it up, and the people liked it, and you could see their faces light up. Because I remember when I was a little girl going to see my grandmother because she had lupus, and she was in a special care facility more for her lupus than anything else, because she would just wander off and stuff. She was having all kinds of issues like that, and my mother had to work. So I remember going to see our grandmother and get her and bring her home on the weekends, and all the people saying, please take us home, please take us home. Because they had no visitors, they had nobody that would come to see them. And my grandma had, you know, 5 granddaughters just from my mother. And we were all, you know, taking her things that we made and cooked for her and things like that. And she was just so happy. And she'd share. We always took a lot so she could, you know, share with other people. But it's just sad to see how many people are just abandoned. People put them in a nursing home and they never see them again, you know. And there's so many things that you can do to help your communities and help other people, you know, and you feel good about yourself. But this next thing I wanted to bring up was the whole thing with Kash Patel, our FBI director. He said, today we announced the disruption of a global botnet and hacking platform used by Chinese state-sponsored hackers to target U.S. critical infrastructure. And there's a U.S. Department of Justice thing that he's sharing down here in the bottom part. I'm going to share this so you can read it. But it says these tools were used by the PRC cyber actors to hide the origin of their attacks. So this was pretty sophisticated, it seems like, from what the way he worded it. It says today's action is just the latest technical operation against the PRC sponsored hacking and in support of President Trump's cyber strategy for America. The FBI is surging efforts to shape adversary behavior and defend the homeland in cyberspace. And see, this is all good things. People constantly say AI is going to take over the world. AI is going to kill people. AI, and they talk about all this stuff. But when something good like this happens, you know, you don't hear that many people talking about it. But I think it's great because we know from the stuff that's been coming out that China had a hand in, you know, our elections, you know, and helping making sure that a certain person didn't win. So, you know, I think it's really good that we've got Cash Patel. I think he's done a pretty good job
I
considering
like Cash a lot. I always
what he's
have.
been handed. So yeah, it's not been too good. But that was good. But this next thing was Catherine Herridge, and I wanted to share this information that she brought up because it has to do with China too. It says Chinese parts in election machines requires paper ballot audits. And I'm going to share this in the chat too, but she has this document here, and I'm going to open it bigger, and she's showing recently declassified records, including a 2024 ODNI annual threat assessment, concluded that China remains the most active and persistent cyber threat to the U.S. government, its private sector, critical infrastructure networks, Beijing's cyber espionage pursuits, its industry's export of surveillance, information, and communication technologies increase the threats of aggression or aggressive cyber operations against the United States and the suppression of the free flow of information in cyberspace. I mean, this is from the Homeland Security stuff that you know, that she's trying to put out, but it's really scary when you think about it. All the people that I know of that are on X that have been hacked on X. And, you know, they always tell you, don't click on links from people you don't know in your emails or on your phone and text messages or any of that, because the next thing you know, nothing works. It's all broken because they immediately are inside. There was a movie that came out with Jason Statham, and I can't remember the name of it, but basically he was a person that went in and took out this group of people that robbed this woman, and then they killed her or whatever because she she committed suicide or whatever. I don't remember for exactly, but it was a really good movie about how they go in to your computer. They get on there and they tell you, we're going to help you clean up your computer, blah, 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 blah. And they tell her different things to do, and you open it up and they link to your computer, right? And then next thing you know, all your bank accounts are empty, you know, different things like that. They have all your personal banking information. They have your social security number. They have everything, you know, and it's just that fast because they have all the stuff on the computer that just goes right into yours and wipes everything out. And then you have no passwords because none of your passwords are going to work because they instantly go in and change the password. One of my sisters had that happen on her ex. She got one of those things that says, hey, vote for me or whatever type of thing. And quite a few others have had that happen to them and their account's gone. But then you go to get some help from X and you tell them, hey, these people took my account. And they say, well, you know, how do you know, can't you prove that it's me? I'm the one that first signed up, and I have all the information from when I first signed up and my credit card information. I'm sure they don't have it, you know, if you do it right now and help me. And they say, oh, well, and then they sign up and pay again. Do you know, to me, it's ridiculous, but I just don't click on anything. Even if it's from people I've known for 5 years on here and they send something and all you see is a line there with some numbers, I never click on it. And if they got a space and they send me a link and they say they want me to come to it, I go to their profile and click on their picture and then go to it that way. I mean, there's just, or I just send them a message, hey, I'm not clicking on that. It just looks like a bunch of letters and numbers. And then I get these messages from people that say, hey, vote for me, this, that, and the other. And I just write back to them, you've been hacked. And then I report their I report their profile and say, this is a spam account or whatever. And hopefully, something will happen with that. But I keep seeing all these things saying that we're getting rid of the bots, we're doing this, that, and the other, and it's just as bad the next day. I mean, I hardly lose any numbers when they say, oh, I lost thousands of people from my account from that. Well, it's because you have thousands of bots. But I try to only follow certain people, and if they're following me and they're sending me stuff, and then I go down their timeline and there's a bunch of porn on their stuff, I block them and unblock them real quick. So they're off my follow list. I don't care about having 50,000 followers. I care more about having no spammy fake accounts following me than I do the numbers, because and I've been on here for 5 years and I got 13,000. I'm doing pretty good on X to get rid of the fake accounts. But had you seen this post by her about China, Chris?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, well,
Which one are you talking about?
the one I've got up on the screen about the
Oh, yeah. I mean, I looked at all this stuff earlier in the chat.
okay. Okay, well, I'm going to share this real quick in the link for this in the chat, because I am doing a thing where so if they come later, somebody comes later and watches the video, they can still get the stuff out of the chat, because I like to have that on there. But let me I shared that real quick, and I'm going to get rid of that off my notes. Okay, and this next thing, I think it's the post office stuff. Remember that?
I mean, we have a real problem with China. I heard you say you think they planned all this. I've been saying that for 5 years. I've gotten in a lot of trouble for it. I don't have to say that tonight. But when they get all these dots tied together, because this is the same thing you did in last week's show, and I thought it was really good, is you're putting the pieces all out on the table, but it's still like a jigsaw puzzle, because in the end of all this, they're going to realize that COVID was part of it. The corrupting the 2020 election was part of it. All the stuff they did to Trump was part of it, and the lawfare. And this was all orchestrated. And there's this, I mean, when you say it was all orchestrated, that means somebody had to orchestrate it, right? We know who those people are. When all of this is said and done, and it may take another year, man, there's going to be people that are really,
Well,
they got a lot to answer for.
I hope it doesn't take a year, because I honestly believe that if somebody doesn't start to go down before November, we're going to lose the elections. And if we lose these elections, I honestly, after seeing the stuff that's going down in New York, California, and some of the other states, we can't do anything.
Now, see, now you got me all paranoid, because I know how they are up there, and they all protect each other's ass. So the Republicans could be like, yeah, my name's in there too, dog. Let's don't do it. And they can throw the election just for that reason, because nothing will ever happen. We talked about it. We got it,
But they should all go to prison then. All of them. Every single person that's involved.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, I got to go to George Carlin jokes when we get to this point, because there's nothing you can do.
Well, if there's nothing we can do, then it's over. You know what I mean?
Well, people can vote. People can vote. People can override what they want in Washington, D.C. That is the power of the American people. I don't care if you believe in God, don't believe in God, what you do. If you smoke crack, I don't give a shit. If you got to vote, that's the most powerful thing a human being can have, right?
Yeah,
that's what they want to take away from us. They want to take our vote away.
That's why they've been stealing your vote, because that's the only thing you and I have.
That's right.
To take our country back. And once we can clean that up, we might start having a chance. But this is what I wanted to share. It says 3 U.S. Postal Service workers just got indicted for $23 million fraudulent check scheme. They stole mail that was to be delivered and then sold it to the orchestrator. These are the people handling our mail-in ballots. This is why we need to severely restrict mail-in voting and pass the Save America Act. The indictment says that the checks were then put up for sale on Telegram through a channel called Slips and Chips and shipped to buyers using FedEx. See, all these things, all these people need to be prosecuted. And this is a number right here. Federal prosecutors say it all adds up to nearly 24 million in stolen checks acquired and sold. But here we go. I'm going to play this for you. Let me make it big.
Of money, nearly $1.5 million, and prosecutors say that it all started with a postal worker stealing it from the mail that they're delivering to houses, then sold to one of the organizers running this operation. So let me break it down for you. Now, this prosecutors say that Tristan Bond recruited 3 postal carriers to steal checks from their routes. Catherine Kilpatrick, Dracker Alexander, and Malcolm Jobert. They say Alyssa Bryant then worked with Vaughn to buy and resell those stolen checks. And just look at this money right here. Prosecutors tie these 3 checks to 3 postal workers. The biggest one, more than $1.5 million, is tied to Jobert. The indictment says that the checks were then put up for sale on Telegram through a channel called Slips and Chips and shipped to buyers using FedEx. And this is a number right here. Federal prosecutors say it all adds up to nearly $24 million in stolen checks acquired and sold. Now back out here live right now, we are digging into more of these court records, court documents, and the moment I get more information in the next hour, I'll pass it along.
Had you heard that yet about this?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, a lot of people hadn't. So I was, wow, this is, I'm glad they caught the people. See, the thing is, to stop the leaking of the money and the stealing of tax dollars and things like that, you have to stop the fraud. You have to stop the people that are actually committing the crimes and prosecute them, get as much of the money back and put it back where it belongs. And hopefully another group of people won't step up to do the same thing because they don't want to go to prison. See what I mean? And if we show them that you're going to go to prison if you do these things, and this is what we put in now, it's implemented in, like what Elon was showing earlier in that video that I showed, that they're looking into all these things. And when you do that and you start digging deeper, you start finding the people that are committing the fraud and how they committed the fraud. Because once you find out how they did it, then you're able to make a change and hopefully, stop it and keep it from happening again. So we'll see, but basically that's all the only choice we have is to try to get the people, prosecute them, and hopefully not have it happen again. That's about all we can do.
Yeah.
But that's the hard part, huh?
Shit.
Okay, well, this next thing is another thing that has to do with the fraudulent ballots and stuff, and I'll try to share all of this. It says 57,000 fraudulent ballots were found in the Maricopa County 2020 election. In an election, Biden only won by 10,457 votes. That is a lot. They did a lot of cheating, and he only won by 10,000 votes. So that shows you that Trump was winning in the landslide before they tried to throw in all the fake ballots. This is not counting all of the other anomalies and the fraud found because the county would not cooperate with the auditors to complete their investigation. Because they don't want to comply, because if they do, then it proves that they cheated. A person that's innocent doesn't raise a stink. You know what I mean? It's only the ones that are guilty. But here we go.
In Arizona, Joe Biden beat Donald Trump by 11,000 votes. An audit in Maricopa County, done by an outside firm, found 57,000 questionable ballots, just in that one county. The media wasn't interested in this. And the audit wasn't as thorough as it could have been because Arizona officials wouldn't fully cooperate, and some evidence was removed and destroyed. So there's a dangerous pattern in the United States. Politicians, prosecutors, and the press are abusing their power to wage political warfare against innocent people.
And even when the abuse is exposed, the press runs cover for the conspiracy. We're picking it apart, but we need more honest Americans on the inside. Run for office, be a reporter. I'd tell you to be a lawyer, but this country does not need any more lawyers, just the right ones in the right places. So get it right, or be a judge. We can't win the battle from the outside. You know what you need to do.
Hit your microphone.
Oh, my microphone was muted. So I muted it so we wouldn't have the echo because of the
I'm keeping up with it for you.
it's all right, but I did mute it. So I did do it beforehand. But this is I don't see I haven't seen anyone in the state of Arizona throwing a tantrum over any of this stuff. Unless it's just that the media is not talking about it. So the media is complicit on it. They like having the crooks in office, apparently.
Oh, the media has been in on it the whole time. That was the coordination point of they planned it all. The media was involved in the vaccine push. All the Hollywood people, God rest Dolly's soul, they sucked her into it. And then she ended up dying from the fucking vaccine. It's like, oh my God. Of all the people, man, to lose over the vaccine. I don't know how much they paid her to do that, but shit, I was screaming before anybody in America even had COVID. Don't touch the vaccine. Whatever you do, it's not a good idea. And all I got was hated. I wasn't the only one. Like shit, Dr. Campbell, Dr. Dalgleish, Dr. Royce. I knew a bunch of them, and they took our medical licenses and did all kind of shit to us. And then now look at the aftermath. It's like, oh God, I'm just glad I was able to be a small part of it, and then the other interesting part of it was that I had it my whole life. My dad died, and a lot of the people that worked with him just came to work with me. And I was a small part of all of this that we're talking about in these shows now. And Jesus Christ, they put us through hell. They put us through hell for telling the truth. So I personally know the people behind all of it. And I can't wait till the names come out, when the names come out and they really do get money. But then you say something like the midterms. And the fact is, man, there's a lot of people on both sides they're dirty, filthy, dirty with money and USAID, and the Republicans took advantage of that. Don't think for a second they didn't. Their little shoestring stuff they like to do and pad their friends' pockets. Oh my God, it was really bad. So I'm not looking for, if we could change it all at the grassroots, which is what you always do. You go back to that.
Yeah, it's because honestly, that's all we can do.
It's all we can do.
Yeah, unless you want to go and get arrested doing something stupid. You can go and you have to. It's the only thing you can try to work on is in your own state, in your own towns, and in
your own neighborhood. Yeah.
So basically, that is our route, but it can happen. If 81 million people voted for Trump, okay, and they did more than that the second time, or when he, when he lost, those same people go and work in their communities, in their states. I just can't even imagine what would happen. But this next thing has to do with voter fraud too. But that one was from Maricopa County in Arizona. This one's from Michigan. Okay, this one says Michigan election worker testimony and affidavit exposes mail-in ballots all had the same exact signatures. None of the voters were in the poll books. Sorry, my throat. I'm starting to get a scratchy throat. We're all in the sequential order and all had the same addresses, which is physically impossible. Okay, now see, if you were working the polls and you saw this that night, you know what I mean? When you brought this up that evening, the votes wouldn't have went through. See what I mean? Because we would have had to fix that before you submitted it for your electoral college votes. See, there's so many things that could have been done the day of, but people didn't do it because the people running everything with the electronic machines and stuff.
Mike Pence knew all of this because we told him. And on January 6th, when he decided to go ahead with that vote, all we had to do was just show this to the people those years ago.
Yep.
We knew.
Let them go, take them back to the States, fix it, and then come back.
That's right. That's what should have been done on January 6th. They should have said, we're not going to certify this election. We're having another one, because they wouldn't have had the time to prepare for all that fraudulent voting. Right. There would have been, obviously, right here in one county, 57,000 less voters. I mean, if you've been around it, you have, and working in the polls and stuff like that, you can get in polls where like 628 people vote or 55. Or it might be 2,000. It depends on what kind of a city you're in or whatnot. But
if you're sitting in a stadium, a huge stadium like in New Orleans, right? And people are coming in and voting, but they go to a table. They go to their parish table, whatever precinct they're in. That's where you vote. Okay, when you get your little voter card, it tells you where to go. It's a small little fire department.
Some of them are really small.
Yeah. So the thing is that when I usually volunteer, I'm in a stadium, like, at a college campus or something like that, where multiple people are going to be there, because the smaller places that have a town of 200 or 50 people, you know what I mean? It's not going to, you only need 1 or 2 people to work.
Well, no, the reason I'm pointing that out, you can hide 57,000 votes in Phoenix.
Yeah.
Or Albuquerque. You can't. How you going to hide vote? Like, if you got a town with 200 people and there's 10,000 votes, somebody's definitely going to go, what the hell's going on?
But the reason it's easier is, like I said, when people don't volunteer to work the polls over the years, they'll say, look, it looks like geriatric center. So the only thing we can do is get machines to do it all. Okay, so the whole thing worked hand in hand. They were able to do it, and all you got to do is sit out in a car and go push the buttons and change the numbers. If you have the right numbers, and you can, it's not hooked up to the internet. Yeah, sure it isn't. So, and people were asking, and people were sharing videos the day of saying, this isn't right. We couldn't get our ballot. Our ballot wouldn't take our vote, because they had one that was a little bit too short, so the machine wouldn't read it. They had it all planned out. They knew what they were doing. But why don't we finish reading this? It says, this is called fraud. How much more evidence do you need to see to understand that our elections were completely compromised and the 2020 election was stolen? But I'm going to play this real quick. This is at the Michigan State Senate Committee Oversight holds hearing on election issues. So here we go.
But the whole environment was so hostile and condescending. And a lot of people have talked about the ballots that were not in the poll book or the system. And I was at a table which had a full stack of this file that said not in EPB/S, which is poll book or system. They were scanning and manually entering them, and the signatures on those sleeves were exactly alike, like a bar graph. And then they were sequential ballot numbers. They started from 2232, and sequence was something that threw me off. I'm like, how does that happen? And most of those people were from the Goddard Street, and they were being entered manually. So those were the observations that I had. I had all the details, the last names and everything. I gave the affidavit to the Election Integrity Fund. The thing that bothered me was that when every time a GOP challenger was being escorted out, all the poll workers, Democrats, and everybody else were cheering. And that was very disappointing because these people were just doing their job. They were not attacking. They were not there with guns. They were just volunteering their time, and they were treated with utmost disrespect.
Thank you for your time, your testimony. Could you briefly go back to just a few seconds ago? You mentioned how you saw some ballots that were sequential, and then you described them somehow, and I missed the phrase that you used.
They were
Where they
sequential.
came from, I think you mentioned.
Yeah, it was from Goddard Street in Wayne County, like
Goddard Street. Okay.
yeah, and they all had sequential ballot numbers, and they were being manually fed into the system.
Okay. Thank you.
So it's really funny how we're starting to see more and more and more and more of these videos from the actual towns that were holding these meetings, because people did bring it to people's attention. It's just that it didn't go anywhere, after they did it. So now they're collecting all these, because I remember when Giuliani was first doing it, he was traveling around trying to show that this is all the evidence that we've already got to show you that these machines are compromised. But they would go from one place to another and do the things, and then they had all these whistleblowers, and the whistleblowers lost their jobs, and it was just a big fuck you to everyone that was trying to say, look at all this corruption. They were basically getting told, come over here and bend over this table because we're going to take care of it for you, and that's basically what happened. At Giuliani, look what happened to him. He lost everything. He lost his career. He lost his home. He lost all his money because he got sued out the wazoo, and all of it was true. Everything he said was true. So I hope all these people can get back the money that they lost. They got ripped off, get reinstated for all that stuff. And the people that did that to it, that did the prosecuting to him, I hope they all lose everything, because a lot of these people bought houses and cars and did all this shit with money that wasn't theirs, that they earned from somewhere for doing this stuff, getting all this to go through. And it's just really pathetic and sad to see how many people got away with all of this fraud for years and years.
Think about how stupid Fonnie Willis was, right? Trump says, find me 11,000 votes, right? Mm-hmm. I think what he was saying was find me 11,000 fake votes, because they just announced that there was 27,000 fake votes in her county. So if there was fraud and the election people told the election commission would tell the DA, right? That's state law, right? So do you think she's going to be like, oh yeah, well, we already know that. But beyond that, she sues Donald Trump, right? It's like, what? Are you serious, man? The truth is going to come out. Man, you talk about somebody threw their life away. Ooh, wee. Yeah, she's in more hot water down here in Georgia right now. She's like a hot news topic here.
I saw something where she just got arrested again or something.
Yeah.
For doing the same stuff. Because that's what I said. When a person does something, a serial killer, Ted Bundy or any of them, they get away with killing someone and nobody gives them a second thought. And then they go out and they get bold again and they kill another person. They kill another person and kill another person over and over again. They just get more and more emboldened. Look at the Green River Killer, 48 people that we convicted him of. Okay. He got away with it all for many years, until finally something happened and they were able to get him, and he confessed, because they're all pussies, they all like, oh, don't kill me, oh, I don't want to die, even though they took all these lives like they were nothing but that pieces of paper, crumble them up, throw them away. They didn't give a shit. Those people's lives didn't matter, but we had to give him a plea deal or whatever, not kill him, because he wasn't going to tell us where all the bodies were. It's just disgusting how we just let these people bend us over daily, and we feed them and house them and take care of them for the rest of their lives. And then some of them, like Chris Watts, get married and start over with a whole new family after he murdered his 2 daughters and his pregnant wife. It's just fucked up, and I just don't understand it. It just happens over and over and over again, and these people just keep putting the same judges back in, the same people that make these decisions, and they do nothing about it. It's just shocking.
Think about how vile the story is you opened with.
I know.
Okay, it's bad. I think Trump is doing all he can, and I agree with you. The midterms matter. I would venture to say if we don't win the midterms, and I say I'm a libertarian. I like a moderate leadership and Trump is being moderate right now, and I really like what he's doing.
But
And
he can't do everything with executive orders. We got Congress for a reason, okay? And they're not doing
our
shit.
Congress isn't moderate, though. They're the radicals that got us in this mess.
Yeah, and
They're the ones I was just telling you. They're as guilty as USAID fraud as the Democrats are. Don't make any mistake about that. I know where the bodies are buried.
I want
You
to
know,
show
so it's iffy if they're going to do anything.
yeah, I want to show this. This is a poll that was done by CNN. Okay, it says even CNN can't hide it anymore. But here we go. Watch this.
Take a look here. Favorite photo ID to vote. 85% of white people favor it. 82% of Latino. 76% of Black Americans favor it. So the bottom line is this. Voter ID is not controversial in this country. A photo ID to vote is not controversial in this country. It is not controversial by party, and it is not controversial by race. The vast majority of Americans agree with Nicki Minaj that, in fact, you should have a photo ID to be able to vote. So something of a non. Take a look here. Favorite photo ID to vote.
You.
Damn it! I keep forgetting to turn it back on. I said I can't believe I'm playing CNN on my show, and I agree with them. How often does that happen? Not very often. But look at that. Those people all agree that you should have voter ID to vote. You know, a photo of something to prove who you are. You can't just come in and say, I vouch for them. I vouch for these people.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
All of this is just, it's just really, really, I don't know. It's just funny how these people have seemed to have just been able to.
Thank God we had Twilight Zone when we were young, so we'd know this was coming.
Yeah, it's just how did they know? You know, how did they know the TV and have a show about it? I'm gonna put that in the chat. Hold on, I gotta paste this in here because the link for that, because that's CNN. I'm sharing a link for CNN because they're telling the truth. Which is
Well, I mean, I'm going to defer to what I said last week and say that voter IDs don't secure anything because anybody can buy an ID, but a thumbprint on every vote, would make a difference. And they got things now you wouldn't even have to put ink on your hand. You could just rub your thumb over it.
Like you do on your phone.
Right, exactly. So that's, they got stuff now that would make that work, and that's so much more secure than voter ID. That's, proof of body, right? Like you said last week, you didn't think they would cut people's thumbs off and use them. I mean, maybe they would, I don't know, but I would hope not.
They don't want to be able to use them once because after a few hours, they're going to dry up and the fingerprint you won't be able to see it.
Yeah, all the Democrats will be asking the embalmer, can I have that right thumb? What for? Oh, I'm going to put it in a jar and save it. Because that's all the dead people vote Democrat every time. We know that. We figured that out.
Well, this next thing is that 64,000 mail-in ballots were Xeroxed in the back of a conference room during the Milwaukee, Wisconsin 2020 election. I just think this is great. I mean, all this stuff, it's finally being talked about by the news, of different people. So let me get this ready here.
A government employee has been fired from her government job for helping to rig the 2020 presidential election in Joe Biden's favor. Here's what the official report is saying. She printed 64,000 ballots in the back conference room of City Hall, room 501, for the November 3rd, 2020 election. She had city employees and others at the CTCL fill out ballots on the 4th, 6th, and other floors of City Hall. Then kicked out observers around 10 to 10:30 p.m. on November 3rd. Then brought in large amounts of ballots at 1:15 a.m. on November 4th. All illegal, unconstitutional. Number one way, however, the liberals stole the presidential election in 2024. Now, listen to this. We have a documented email from one of her coworkers by the name of Ryan Chu. He wrote on November 4th at 4:07 a.m., "Damn, Claire, you have a flair for drama, delivering just the margin needed at 3 a.m. I bet you had those votes counted at midnight and just wanted to keep the world waiting." Now, remember, up in Wisconsin, all of a sudden in the middle of the night, Joe Biden came out ahead like a firework, just shot up. And all of a sudden, he's declared the winner. Now, this woman has been fired. Obviously, this needs to be reported in greater detail, but this could be how Biden had more ballots than Donald Trump. Not more votes, but more ballots. 64,000 extra ballots.
The fact that she was able to get people to just sit there and fill out ballots that they knew were not their own. So every one of those people that touched a ballot, knowing it wasn't theirs, they should all be arrested also. Because everyone in the United States of America that's old enough to vote knows you get one ballot, one vote in an election. And that should be taught in school. And I really do believe that every single college should have to have a class that has people that have to work the polls and find out what it's like to actually work an election and understand what an election is and how the process works. Because if every single person understands what's going on, when you see on the video, oh, look, and this person's sitting there with a stack this high and they're all writing on them. You know, I have worked, I don't know how many times, 50 something times, okay, at different elections, not just the presidential, all different ones, because they have, you know, special votes, you know, someone dies and someone's got to be voted to take the place of the person who died, all the different stuff, raising a tax, you know, in your county, that kind of stuff. And you get one vote in all of those elections. And if you have a group of 5 people at your table, you show your ID to the first person, you go towards the end and you get your ballot, because they're all writing down your name in the different paperwork or whatever it is that they have. You get your ballot, and their last person at the table is holding the box that's locked, so that you go vote, write on your ballot, you come back, and you, the person who took the ballot, puts it in the box. You know, that's how it works. And none of us at the table wrote on your ballot. Not one person. The only person that's supposed to write on it is the person whose ballot it belongs to. So that is ridiculous. And this woman, hopefully she's spilling the beans on who put her up to it, how she was able to get away with doing it, shutting down the place, all the things that she did, and all the people that she was able to get to fill out the ballots, every single one of them. The first thing I would have done after she went to my office, I would have called 911 and reported, say, this woman is trying to get me, because I work for the city, to fill out a ballot for the election, and this is illegal. But nobody did it. That's what I'm talking about. You have city after city after city after state after state after state of people that did all of this cheating, and they saw the cheating the night of or the day of or whenever it was happening, not one of them called the police and reported it. And if they did, why isn't it on the news? Where is that information? I would like to see that, because what cop didn't do their job and show up and arrest the person that was putting 64,000 ballots through a machine that they just Xerox in the back room? Just I don't know how we're supposed to fix this when you got that many corrupt people, all one after the other, just letting the corruption happen. That's like walking down the street at crowds of people during a parade, and you're seeing somebody beating the crap out of someone or stabbing somebody, and nobody does anything but pull out their phones and videotape it. That's
Well, I'm looking at that girl, and she looks like she was born in probably 2003, 2006, something like that.
Mhm.
Most of her life, she was brainwashed in school, brainwashed by a very corrupt media, brainwashed by the social media and the internet, and she thought she was doing something good. I promise you, in her mind.
The thing is, every person, I don't care if you're a liberal or you're conservative or you're libertarian, we all know it's against the law to write on more than one ballot. You're supposed to get one ballot. So
No, I mean, I get that. That girl knew. No, she knew that, right? She was breaking the law, but in her mind, I mean, Trump derangement syndrome is real. In that girl's mind, she thought if the world is going to end if Donald Trump wins, I'm willing to do whatever it takes. Like, it's just another sign that we've been in a war. We have been in a war in this country, and it's taken until maybe the last 3 or 4 years for the people on the right to realize they're serious. It's a war, and they're serious. They kill our innocent citizens. They steal our money. They fraudulently treat our elections. And we have people in the Democrat Party, so help me God, they're loyal. I don't have to, so help me God, on that one. Their loyalty is to another country. And for the ones whose loyalty is for America, that's not even true either. Their loyalty is for how much money they can get before they leave and have to live on only, $219,000 a year and government medical care at Bethesda and all that. I mean, Jesus Christ, they get, for all they get, you'd think they would be honest. But to them, that's when they lose, when they no longer have access to that money, to being bribed, or Colgate comes in. We got a new toothpaste and we ain't sure about it. We need you to vote yes, and hand them 25 grand. I mean, it's the nature of the game up there. I'm sorry, but that's just how it is.
Yeah, but do you remember that movie that had Pretty Woman in it, and she, Erin Brockovich? Remember that movie? Okay. Remember the scene where they're all sitting around this giant table, and she's walking around handing them paperwork and stuff, and they're all drinking from the water cups and stuff, and then that's what she says, well, I hope you guys like your water. Do you need anything else? This water came straight from the tap or whatever, and they're all, and they all start spitting and stuff, because everyone at the table was all involved in making sure that they had chemicals and nasty stuff put in the water there. So the fact that they were drinking it scared them, because they knew all these people that were dying from cancer was getting it from the shit that they're.
Yeah, that was the big thing that shut down Union Carbide.
I know.
Everything you bought for the longest in your life said Union Carbide on it, and they just disappeared. And that was her case that did it. She sued them out of existence.
Well, good. I wish we had more Erin Brockoviches doing something about this, because I'd like to see all of these people get what they deserve. Get what they gave us. They stole from us. They stole an election from people that voted for something and wanted it different. And they made sure that we went. I mean, I hope when they get all this done that they overturn everything that happened. Every judge that Biden appointed should be taken off. I don't care where they are, in what state. Every judge that was appointed by the Biden administration should be gone. Every law that he signed should be gone. Everything, every single thing that he did, it was illegitimate, because he was an illegitimate president.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
of Hillary Clinton, Comey, and all of them thought they knew better what they wanted for our country than the people of the United States, that totally threw the Constitution out the window and wiped their feet on it. That's what they did, because they, just like Hillary Clinton said, it takes a village to raise a child. And she believes that about you because you're a deployable. And all of you people, the 81 million people that voted for Trump, are deplorables and they should be thrown in the garbage. And that's how she did it. She threw us all in the trash. She took our rights away and gave them to someone else, to China. She sold our uranium to Russia. She did whatever she wanted. She left people in Afghanistan. They were selling drugs to Mexico and selling guns to Mexico. They were doing anything they wanted. Just like, we're smarter than you because you're stupid. Just keep paying your taxes so we won't take your homes. You know, that's basically how they thought of us. And that's how they treated all of us. And they got away with it. So, and they're still getting away with it. Even though all this evidence is out, coming out, until a person is arrested and put in prison for it, they're getting away with it.
Yeah, they don't get away with it around me. I mean, they hate me, and I get that. You know what? It's a badge of honor. I earned their hate. You know why? Because I hold them accountable. And that's basically what you're saying. And I don't give a shit. I'll storm a congressional hearing, or, you know, go talk to the FBI or do whatever. It's like, look here, man. You know what? It's your job. Why am I doing your job? Yeah. Get your shit together and do your job. And that, it's so corrupt, though. I mean, the undertone of this whole thing is like, oh, Jesus, just don't give up. That's where I am. I hope people don't give up, because this show right here it's the truth is hard to bear. It's really hard to bear. And nobody's angrier about any of this shit than me, but I believe we're going to come out the other side okay. And maybe I'm a fool for believing that, but that's my hope, at least.
Well, that's what I'm hoping for, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. Okay, I haven't made any money. I haven't made a single dime off YouTube. Yeah, I'm monetized, but I haven't made any money. And when they demonetized me, they kept all the money that I made before I got demonetized, because I never got a check. And if I ever do get one, I'm going to post a picture of it every single time I get one on my posts. Just like I said I would.
Well,
and,
for anybody here now or that sees this in later, anybody can do what I do. Anybody. This is our country. Okay, they can say whatever they want to say, but we have equal power. When we walk up there, it's like, yo, you're voting, but you're voting for me, right? Get petitions done and get 25,000 signatures by just going to where people shop on Saturday. If you have a good cause, you get the signatures and you go see them, say, look, if this doesn't get your attention, I'll go get 500,000 signatures. Do the right thing. You can demand they do the right thing. It's you can, and it may take 5 years to get something to be done, but it gets done. And thank God all the people that helped me fight for the last 5 and 6 years over the USAID, which funded the COVID, which, you know, did what it did, and then they put Biden in, and 3 other people were running the White House, and now they're openly talking about it.
But honestly, the billions of dollars that we've found already in all this fraud in all these different states, I think it's just a drop in the bucket.
It is just a drop in the bucket. Yeah, it's a drop in the bucket.
Really shocked when we realize when
there's a lot more coming out.
The 81 million people that voted for Trump, when we start finding out exactly how much fraud there was and how much money that we paid in as taxpayers was wasted, and that we would not be in debt, all our debt would be paid off. Everyone would have money waiting for them in Social Security, your Medicaid, all that stuff would all be like busting.
You know, let me tell you when the first time I knew we had a real problem. It was like, I think it's just like not even the summer of 2009 yet, and Obama's just getting in office, right?
Yeah.
And some of the kind of things that people like me do is they investigate people for security clearances. So I was kind of doing one of those kind of tasks at the time, and I was doing a lot of, you know, stuff for that. So Obama gets this girl that was in his graduating class from college, and he puts her over the World Bank. She becomes the U.S. Representative at the World Bank in Africa. So he's right after she gets over there, and we're like, we didn't approve, right? But they passed her anyway. So she goes over there and she immediately gets a $42 million cash deposit in the bank, right? We went back in 3 months to audit, and that money was gone, and there was no sign of anywhere it went. Now, that's 2009, and that was really the beginning of all this. And I was like, man, if they're going to be doing that with $50 million, boy, we're in trouble. Because they just shrugged, and Obama shrugged, and Eric Holder, who was involved in it's like, yeah, whatever, find an AG that's willing to prosecute it. Find the Attorney General of the United States, because I'm not doing it.
That's
And they
why,
just stole it and took it.
yeah, and they kept doing it, just like the
Damn right, they're still doing it.
just like the pallets of cash in the middle of the night that Obama was delivering to Iran.
Yeah, it went from 50 million to 6 billion or whatever. I think it was 6 billion, yeah, in cash.
Obama's bought a beautiful mansion in Europe, so they're probably already moved in and all ready to go. And we're going to see whether or not Europe will extradite them, I guess, when it's time to try to do something. But it's a mess. And the thing is, but we've got to start holding somebody accountable. That this, like I said, we have a lame ass Congress that hasn't even put in all the judges that Trump needs to prosecute these people. So when you put him, let's say we get Hillary, we arrest her, and we have this much evidence. I mean, it's just so much fucking evidence that basically she should just put the handcuffs on and walk out. There's no reason to have a trial, right? But the judge goes, this is all hearsay. Boop, she's free, and nothing you can do. It's over. Can't try her again. I mean, you can't do nothing. So that's what I'm worried about, because all the judges are paid off and bought. I mean, that's why this whole mess in Arizona is a mess. I mean, look at the cartel. They got away with so much stuff. They own everything. They own Katie Hobbs. They own everyone in office, pretty much, almost every single person. And look what happened to Tina Peters. She got put in jail for it. So it's like, it's pathetic. It's just a mess. But let me show you, let's do this whole thing real quick. This is some good news. Huge SCOTUS win. The U.S. Supreme Court has lifted a judge's block on President Trump's requiring mail-in ballot tracking and citizenship lists to vote while the case proceeds. So this, he's doing everything he can. He's doing everything he can do as president without a Congress that's backing him, because they're dragging him down the road. That's all they're doing. They're just slowly going, that's it. They don't give a shit. They're not doing it for us. They're doing it for themselves. They're hurting all of us, and they're afraid of Trump. They're afraid of what he might be able to do, and we should be afraid of Congress. That's what I believe.
So far, so good. Okay, so that's a big deal. Very proud of it. And I think, I don't know how it can be challenged. You'll probably challenge it. You may find a rogue judge, or a lot of rogue judges, very bad people, very bad judges. But that's the only way that can be changed, and hopefully we'll win on appeal if it is, but I don't see how anybody can challenge it. I don't see how they can challenge it.
The thing is, when every single thing that our president does has to go all the way to the Supreme Court, that takes a long time. Every single thing he's trying to do for us, like this right here, which should already be passed, okay, that if you're not an American, you can't vote. And if you're not legally on the voting rolls, you shouldn't be able to vote. There's rules for a reason, because people who pay for this country, the taxpayers, a person who goes to work and sweats, types, does whatever they have to at their job should be the only freaking people that get to go and vote. Okay. People that are retired, people that are handicapped or whatever, if you're married or you own property or you rent or whatever, and your butt was born here and you have a birth certificate that says you were born here, or you came here legally and you did the work you had to get that piece of paper that says you are now a legal citizen of the United States of America, guess what? Those are the only people that should be able to go and get a ballot and vote for what's going to happen to their kids, their grandkids, and the rest of the other people that they're now Americans, okay, that put hard work and stuff into this country to keep people free, to have the right to have that. Not somebody who just walked over the border that walks up and gets a paycheck and then goes and votes. And when they can't even speak English or not even a part of the system, they haven't even assimilated. Those people, I've seen people that have been deported that other friends of mine knew that have been here for 20 years and they still can't speak English, but they've lived here for 20 years and we've been paying for them. And all they had to do if they wanted to come here and have kids was go to the post office, go to the police department, go somewhere and say, hey, I'm not here legally, but I want to sign up to become an American citizen. What do I need to do? If you haven't broken the law or done anything, they probably would have helped you fill out the paperwork, and then you could learn how to speak English and do the different things that you need to become a citizen legally. People been doing it since the beginning of this country, and most of our ancestors did that. I don't know anyone who didn't have to do that besides the American Indians that were already living here when we came. Everyone else had to follow procedures and become a citizen. But I don't know. I don't understand why
the political undertone that this is what I know about when they say they won't pass the SAVE Act. What he's trying to do right here is he's trying to do executive order on it. And he's had the lawyers look up Constitution. Okay, what can we get through? And they've given this one. But the SAVE Act isn't not just coming to vote for one reason. There's two reasons. Here's the two reasons. The Republicans said they weren't going to pass that bill as long as they had all that grease money in there. And the Democrats said, we're not going to sign that bill as long as the SAVE Act is in there because we need our illegal votes, right? They've even said out loud in media.
Obvious.
Yeah, it's really obvious.
The only reason they wouldn't want to pass it is because they're benefiting from not passing it. That's common sense. And what they don't understand is that 81 million people that have common sense know that they're full of shit.
No, it's a lot more than that. It's
Well,
72% of blacks and 87% of Republicans and 82% of Democrats. You're talking about 150 million people.
Yeah, a shit ton of people.
It's a shit ton of people, yeah.
And they're just sitting there list like this. Fuck you. We don't care what you want. We're doing what we want. And they're doing it. And they're giving
No,
it
they're
away.
holding that. They're using that to hold the bill hostage so that Trump will cave on the USAID money and all. It's like, damn it, USAID should not exist. Once you commit that much fraud, it's not you don't get a second chance.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get a second chance. Okay, we got the fraud out. No, you let the fraud happen. That's called accountability. You hold people accountable for their shit.
What I would do if I was Trump, I would say, okay, as soon as all this stuff's taken care of and we get it all out there and we get the money back where it belongs and we put in a new system to stop the fraud from happening again in these areas, then I will compromise with you. But until then, we got to do something to fix it. And if you're not going to fix it, the people, as we've seen in the last couple of elections, the people that Trump has backed, they've won. So the people are still voting for leaning toward Trump. because they can see that Trump's doing everything he possibly can because he's not a king. He has to follow the Constitution and do it through the courts and stuff. And that's exactly what's happening because that's the only option he has. And an executive order is not a law. And a lot of people do not seem to understand that. Just because he wrote an executive order, guess what? The next president that's in there, the next Democrat's just going to go, doo-doo, 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 and just check all those things out the window, and they're never going to exist again. So that's why it's important that we have the people that rode on Trump's coattails to get in office that are in there right now that won't pass the SAVE Act. They got in using Trump. And we already know what's happening with the Democrats. They're not going to vote for it because they only are in office because of the cheating.
Oh, no, that's not right. They said they would vote for it if they were allowed to have all that USAID money. Just like Trump, but Trump's like, you ain't getting that money, right? That's like, okay, making a deal with Trump when you're going to rip him off for about 15 billion.
But they're ripping us off, and that's why Trump's not going to take it.
That's right. He fights for us.
So, and he said, it's not just me becoming president. I'm giving the country back to the people.
Yeah, I think they wanted $1.5 trillion. And the reason I remember that is because that's what they first said. Remember when they did the sending everybody a $700 check? I'm like, holy shit, people are so stupid. They don't realize by the time they pay that off in the taxes they're going to pay in the future, it would have been like $10,000, just like insurance companies rip us off and, loan sharks and all that. Our government turned into a loan shark. And that $30 trillion they loan shark, that was our money. And oddly, we got to pay it back. And that number does not. And I wish people would start putting this in. It matters. They took $16 trillion out of Social Security. So when you say it's 40, you got to add that 16. And that was literally our money. Our money.
Yep.
The money that they took out of our check. I never heard a person in my life say, I am so glad they take up that Pfizer or whatever that shit's called in there.
FICA.
Yeah, FICA.
Yeah.
I'm like, I never heard one person ever say that benefited their life. And now that there's no money there, yeah, you're right. It never benefited your life. And you got, you got your Bernie Sanders and all this shit out here. Let me tell you something. Bernie Sanders had to close his PAC, his political action committee where he collected money because he committed fraud.
Yeah.
And he gets up and talks about the corrupt election funding. Right. And they're talking about, well, the whole election system and the funding. It's like, yeah, dude, do you realize that we all know that you got shut down because you took $150 billion, $1 million illegally out of your election fund? It's like, we know you did that. People don't know. That's the problem. The people that do know wouldn't pay attention to him in the first place. But the people that pay attention to him, and those are the scary ones, because they believe that line of bullshit he says. If they knew the truth about what he did with his election money and that he was facing jail time, and that happened while he was in office. Now ponder that. His wife got in all kind of trouble for it because they used her name to do it. Yeah, her name and his stepson. Yeah, and they fucked the country out of about 150 million. And Bernie Sanders, I don't know how he kept him out of jail, but they were in deep shit trouble. His wife and her son.
Bending over, sucking a lot of dick, and the Democrats made sure he didn't go to prison for it because he did what they told him to do. So they do stick together like glue and help each other out. But this next thing is something I wanted to share. That we talked about it earlier. It says, meet Wanda. Bridgeport's alleged ballot stuffer caught deposing absentee ballots that didn't belong to her. facing nearly 100 counts. Out on bail, then arrested again for allegedly trying to intimidate a witness. So this is she's
Gangsta. That's some gangsta shit
yeah.
right there.
Let me show this. This is funny, but here we go. Here we go for you.
Alleged ballot stuffer, Wanda. She got a face you don't forget. Johnny sure hasn't.
Wanda. Yes. Arrested for ballot fraud. What's going on?
Stop following me.
Excuse me, Wanda. What's going on? Wanda, you were also caught stuffing. What happened? Wanda? Wanda, don't you want to come clean? Wanda, what about the person whose ballot you've been having for 10 years? Wanda? Wanda, what happened? Wanda, don't run me over, Wanda.
Turns out Wanda doesn't talk. She only stuffs. So when they hauled her into court a few years back, Wanda pulled a Fauci.
Is that you walking out the front doors of 999 Broad Street? And did you deposit completed absentee ballots not belonging to you on the in the drop box on that date and time?
Those ballots have Wanda staring down nearly 100 counts. Ballot stuffing, fraud, voting as people who never showed up. Enough to lock her up for good. Most people might lay low. Not our girl. She's a fighter. Out on bail, she got arrested again. Tried to scare off a witness, allegedly. Which brings us to today, when Wanda waltzed back into court to pay the piper. But the piper wasn't asking much. A judge laid out a deal. 3 years and it'll go away. But Wanda wanted to gamble, so she passed on the deal and rolled the dice on a trial.
With respect to those pleas, you would serve 8 years of incarceration. However, that would be suspended after serving 3 years with 3 years of probation. You understand that to be the law?
Yes.
Having considered all the information and speaking with your attorney, you wish to reject the state's offer?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Bad bet. If she loses, she's looking at up to 500 years. But the stuffer's not sweating. Sources tell us the system's so backed up, she won't see a jury till the end of next year, after the election, of course. Remember, arresting Wanda's the easy part. You can cuff her, you can take her to court, you can lock her up, but there's always another Wanda. Lucky for us, they're running out of road because Trump has been fighting to tighten up mail-in voting. And today, or it was Monday, the Supreme Court sided with him 6-3, which means the feds can finally put together a citizenship list to prevent ballots heading to people who aren't eligible. So the next time someone pulls a stunt like Wanda's, there's finally a list and an AG ready to prosecute. Fight's not over, though. Democrats are still trying to block the last part, tighter postal service rules, because you can't fix mail-in voting without the post office. California knows that. No one milks the mailman quite like the Golden State, where election night isn't a night, it's a month, and ballots tend to break the same way. Steve Hilton, running for governor of California. Imagine, Mr. Hilton, how many Wandas are crawling around California?
Exactly. I mean, look, she should have come here because listen to the language there in court, which was depositing absentee ballots not belonging to you. That's legal in California. It's called ballot harvesting. It's the law. It happens the whole time. It's well documented. You got unions running around collecting ballots in nursing homes. You saw it filmed on Skid Row. I mean, this is what they've done. And people call it cheating and all the rest of it. It's been legalized. You have legalized cheating and corruption in this state. And that's what we're fighting against. It's a very powerful machine, but we're closing the gap with the Democrats. And I think we can beat them.
Well, how are you going to beat that machine?
Well, we've got to do it better than them. I mean, we've got to actually beat them at their own game. So we've got to do the ballot harvesting. We've got to run around collecting all these ballots. I've been putting out videos showing people how to do it, because especially in a midterm election, turnout is the key. They've got their machine to do it. We need to build our own, because actually there's a majority of Californians who are sick of these Democrats that have given us the highest gas prices, the homelessness, the highest taxes and cost of living in the country. They want to change, but you got the unions and the government machine that they run. We got to beat them by building our own and doing it better. That's what I'm doing.
All right, build the Steve machine. We like to see that. Good luck out there in California. Thank you so much.
Damn it. Sorry. I hope he can do it. I hope he can outrun the Democrats and beat them at their own game. Because if he can, and we can put stricter rules on things, and hopefully if he does win, they can get rid of some of the stupid shit that they've passed. You know what I mean? I don't see how a person, a regular everyday person, wouldn't vote to get rid of the homeless encampments, the all these businesses that are packing and moving away. They're leaving. Everybody's leaving left and right. And when their roads and their buildings and their bridges start falling apart because they don't have any money, because they're so busy spending it to go out to dinner and get a yacht and do all this other shit. And the people are doing without, and people can't even water their crops because they don't have water infrastructure. Trump talked about all of this when he went there for the fires. He was a hands-on president. He went to the flood zones. He went to the hurricane-stricken areas. He went to all these places, and they just laughed at him when they left, and the people just suffer. But the people that are fighting are going to make it better for those idiots and for the ones who fought to win. When the idiots win, they win because they don't pay for nothing. They're living off of our dollar, right? You and I are the ones that suffer. But then when we fight and we get the stuff lowered and we get the frivolous, stupid shit off the books, everyone benefits. Okay? Except for the person that's no longer getting paid to go protest or paid to, have a sit-in or whatever. So I only have one more thing left, so we'll get to go to bed after this one. But
I was just gonna say this about that. That's not the only ballot harvesting state. A lot of those upper Midwest states do it. New York does it. Here's the thing that I don't understand, and I'm going to look into. You gave me something else tonight that I want to look into about Obama buying a house in Europe. I'm going to check that out.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the ballot harvesting, that was never legal until the pandemic, and they did the lockdown, and then they did it. And I don't understand why the pandemic is over, the lockdown is over, and every law they changed for that, they need to get rid of every one of them. I don't know how some of that stuck. I guess that's all.
How hard is it once a law passes to get it off the books? Okay.
It's hard.
That's why the pandemic was set in place.
Yeah, I told you all of it was tied together, every bit of it.
Trump couldn't be in office. They had to have another bag of dirt just sitting there to just nod and do whatever they're told so that they could get all this shit done. Because that's
I don't even like thinking about all this because Bruce says stuff. He'll say what he thinks, right? Well, I'll say what I think right now. I think that them hanging on ropes is what needs to happen. The people who orchestrated this, they tried to pull a coup on the greatest country in the history of the world. The things we've been able to do, and landing on the moon and having satellites and all this other shit, phones, everything that we've brought to the world. And they literally tried to take us over. If we had not known that they were going to literally pull the coup on November the 3rd of 2020, they would have got away with it. We had to stop that. That's what's scary. And all the COVID and everything was all tied in together to all of that. Just like how the Chinese consulate in Houston, they had 50,000 votes in there, and they tried to light them on fire and burn them.
Yeah, I was trying to find something real
uh,
quick because of what you just said. I'm seeing if I can find out. It's going to add one more if I can find the video, because I know I put it in the shit show chat. So just keep going. I'm looking for it.
Yeah, I mean, I was done. There's so much that we have to drop back and punt on some things. And I don't know if it is it to the point of no return. I hope not. I know that this midterm and the next presidential election, we're kind of going through what's been a 3 or 4 election process where they really want to change this country, and we really don't want it changed, and somehow it's lingered through 4 presidential elections, and that's just not good. Yeah, it's not like this is this first time they did it. This will be the 5th time they did it, and just like the stealing and the sexual crimes and everything else we talked about tonight, the more you get away with it, the more you want to do it, and the bigger you want to do it. So it's a problem, and I'm praying and all that. I worry about my grandbabies. That's what I worry about.
Yeah. Well, I can't find that thing I wanted. It was an interview with Stephen Miller.
Oh yeah, I saw that interview.
Okay, I would love to play that, but I got to find it again. So I was going to play it, but I'll play it tomorrow night for sure. But here's my last thing I had brought up. I said, this is Fulton County story people should be talking about. Forget the recycle claim of 17,000 votes with no ballots. That is not what happened. The repeating a bad claim only makes it easier to dismiss the issue that actually is documented. On December 25th, Fulton County's own attorney told the Georgia State Election Board that the county does not dispute that roughly 315,000 early vote ballots were tabulated and certified without the required poll worker signatures on tabulator tapes. But I don't want to read the whole thing. I'll go ahead and play this for you. So hold on. Get it going. Open it bigger. Ready?
Fulton County essentially admitted that there were unsigned tabulator tapes. Those were those pieces of paper akin to receipts that come out of the voting tabulation machines that help them verify how many people voted and to make sure that it actually matches the number of votes that were cast. Those are unsigned, and that violates state law. The board also admitted that they were missing some documents tied to 2020. A stunning admission earlier this month from an attorney representing Fulton County's election board.
Tapes that are an issue in this case have been produced. They just weren't signed.
The ticker tapes she's talking about, shown here, are almost like receipts spit out by voting tabulators on election night. State law says they must be signed by poll workers for verification, but some 150 tapes tracking the votes of some 315,000 people during early voting in 2020 weren't signed.
At best, this is sloppy and it's lazy. At worst, it could be egregious and it could have affected an election.
And it did affect an election, and it's from your state, and it did make a difference. But the fact that many of them, now 1, 2, maybe 3 that didn't get signed, that's a mistake. That many hundreds is not. That's on purpose because they didn't want to sign it because nobody wanted to put their paw on something when they knew it's going to come back and slap them upside the head, right? So that's why they didn't want to sign it. That's, to me, is the only reason it would be on there. So to me, legally, none of those ballots should be counted, the ones with no signature.
I mean, my dead mother voted, and they wouldn't even take that vote off. I took the death certificate. I'm like, this is my mom. She didn't even live in Georgia. What the fuck are y'all doing? And I immediately gave all that shit to Trump. You know,
Yeah.
hell yeah, I did. That was during he was still in office.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he said he had it all. They said they had it all. They had the proof. But the thing is, I mean, we see it, and a lot of us that knew when we saw the videos that were being leaked and stuff, we knew that there were people were cheating out the wazoo. We could tell. But until somebody actually goes to jail for it, nothing's changed.
I mean, this is really morbid, but do you know that they had people going through cemeteries and writing the names on tombstones and the birth date
Remember, what was it
and
last?
the death, and yeah, they were.
We had over, what was it, hundreds of people that all had the exact same social security number. So it's like, how obvious can you be? And the fact that you got the exact same ballot that's gone through a Xerox machine over and over again. But see, just like I said, the states are prosecuting people. It's just that it took 4.5 years, 5 years to prosecute people for all this cheating and fraud, but the election's already gone. The person has already spent trillions of dollars of Americans' money and passed laws and put 2 people in our Supreme Court. One of them which stated under oath, I can't tell you what a woman is,
Yeah,
So,
man, she could tell you though that she's literally lying under oath when she says she can't tell you.
No, and she shouldn't.
She knows good and goddamn well what she. Are you a woman? She's like, well, yeah, I'm a woman. So we'll describe that. I can't. It's like, that's a fucking lie.
Well, it's having a period every month and feeling like shit and being bloated and your feet swell up, and then when you do get pregnant, your feet swell up and you're a big fat cow for 9 months. And you ache and pain and you hurt, and then you give birth and it feels like you're going to be ripped in half. I mean, what else do you want me to tell you about being a woman? We can be bitches and we can be moms. We can be a lot of good things. I mean, I don't know how else to explain it, but a man can't do that. A man can't have a period and give birth. I can say that. So. Or have breasts to feed their baby when it comes out. So, I don't know what else to tell you. That's what a woman is, and she's definitely not a man because she's not born with a penis. I can say that about a woman. But that was it. That was all the things that I pulled that we had that were all about the, election, frauds. And the fact that we now know that article about Catherine Hedridge had out, she said that the machines that are counting our ballots are made with Chinese parts. So we need to get rid of them. I mean, we need to make our own machines. And basically, that's what she was saying. We need to build our own machines. If we're going to use tabulators, they should just be like the ones where you put the money in at the bank and it just counts the money out. What's wrong with that? Why do we have to have anything else besides that? You know what I mean? And we don't need, if people show up to work the polls and we do the counting with our own hands, big difference.
Yeah, just think about how easy this would be, right? People vote. They come out. There's 3 people there. The first person says, did you vote Democrat or Republican? It says, I voted Democrat. Say, go left. And then you only need one other person on each line. Go 1, 2, 3. Even the count on Sesame Street could count. You know what I'm saying? And all you need is one person there to count. And then right there, you got your exit poll. Right. And then all that's left after that is to verify that everything that was voted for is illegal. I'm telling you that the thumbprint thing will do it.
But
right?
Also, what do they do when you go to a concert? When you go to a concert, they count how many people go in.
That damn sure do.
Okay? So if 100 people or 300 people go in to the polling area and they get their sticker, boop, and then leave, okay, and not counting the people that work there. Okay, not counting them. And then they say, oh, we got 5,800 votes, but we only had, 300 people go in. You see?
That's what I was saying about the small communities.
Yeah.
Right. In the mid-sized communities, you can get away with that because those people, you can't have more votes than you have people qualified to vote.
Yeah.
Right. And the people that hurt the most from that are the good people.
Registered to vote. If you only have 50,000 people registered to vote, then you should only have 50,000 votes. If that's 100% of the voters come in. This last election in a couple of states, they had less than 19%.
Yeah, South
So,
Carolina, I think they had
you know,
6% or something.
yeah, it's really, really low. So it's impossible that you have 100 and something ballots printed out here, but you have 19 people that actually come to vote. Well, you know, you're not going to have more than the 100 ballots that come back to go into the box to be counted. It's just, it's
Well,
pathetic.
I mean, my closing statement tonight,
Mhm.
the fight's not over. We have to continue to fight, and the outcome will be of how well we fight it. Because they're not going to let go without a fight.
And these, I don't know, these people that are dragging their feet to get the SAVE Act passed.
Well, I explained that to you. I mean, you,
I know, but knowing that the people are not happy about it is they're just stupid. And I hope every one of them get voted out. Every single person that's dragging
well,
their feet.
yeah, just don't forget, these are the same, this is the same group of people who did a shutdown in 2023 in September.
And how many
And
vacations have they taken this year?
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They'll shut down the government, and that screws people out of hundreds of millions of dollars in their livelihood and all that shit. They don't care about us. I mean, you just have to, if it's a political tactical point they can use, like the SAVE Act or the USAID money or whatever, they don't care about us. They care about their agenda, and that basically just means power and money. You know, thank God we got a president in there he's trying to build up the smart businessmen in this nation that can build it. You know, he helps the Elons and all the other guys that own restaurants all over the country and all this, because that's what they tore all that down. And all that has to be built back. And he does a great job with energy. So just hopefully we'll get this vote thing cleared up. I mean, and maybe not in time for this one, but it's got to be cleared up before he leaves office. There's no doubt.
Well, we got what, 2 months?
For the election, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. It doesn't. I don't know. I'm not feeling good about it, especially in the states where nobody's talking about any of it. And in the state of Oregon, all their ballots are mail-in ballots. That's all they have. So no wonder
It's a problem.
Always have been Democrat.
Well, I mean, the thumbprint thing would work with those too. I mean, if it's a thumbprint and it's only one vote, and if the same thumbprint hits twice, it just has to throw the other one out, because there's only one thumbprint for all of us. That's the 8.5 billion now and everybody before it. She will not have an identical thumbprint.
You need to call your whoever you can, you know, and tell them about the whole thumb thing. Wasn't there a country that did the thumbs and they were able to get the elections done in one day, and they had way more people than we have?
Yeah, I think they do the thumbprint in India.
Was that India?
I think it's in India, yeah, or Pakistan, one of those.
Yeah, one of those two, because I remember watching it on the news and I'm like, why aren't we doing that?
Yeah, that's what we should do.
Because you wouldn't even have to have your name, because no one else is going to have your thumbprint.
That's it. There's no
Or DNA. You could just give a drop of blood. It's really putting a drop of blood in there to vote.
Yeah, but I mean that would be, I know about DNA. It would cost a lot of money to check every one of those.
It would, but you know, they were doing it at the fast passes or whatever at the border when they were trying to prove that somebody's kid was somebody's kid. And when it didn't match, I said, nope, it's not your kid. You can't come across the border with these kids, you know, whatever. But yeah, I just want to say thank you to everyone who watched this. I'm sorry I couldn't respond to anyone because I didn't get a single chat from, I know X was on it because I had it open on my phone and I kept looking and trying to respond over there. But I didn't even get to look at my Rumble because I'm not getting my, on my thing on StreamYard, there's a chat thing that goes along the side, and I'm not seeing anybody from any of those other places, so I'm really sorry about that, but I don't know what's messed up with that or not. But I just want to say thank you to everyone, and I hope you guys have a wonderful night and have had a great week and got some cooler weather, because a lot of people have been getting rain and stuff. So yeah, some people were saying their nights were getting nicer, cooler, breezier. So hopefully we're going to start seeing a reprieve in this really hot weather. And, you know, September is going to be a nice month. Hopefully.
Yeah.
I just want to say God bless America, and please don't give up, because Trump isn't quitting. I mean, the guy got grazed with a bullet this close to not being here, fighting for us, and we need to at least give him the same amount of time as the other people's had in office. Now he can't pass laws without, you know, Congress.
We have a really important election coming.
So yeah, keep fighting, people. Don't give up the fight. Just don't give up on your cities and your towns. Don't give up on your children's futures. That's what I'm trying to focus on. But thank you guys, and you guys have a wonderful evening, and I hope you watch my intro, or my outro, I mean, for Tim Tebow Foundation. Thank you.
Boys and girls all over the world are being abused and tortured.
The worst moments of these children's lives, they're being videotaped, and they're being shared with other offenders all over the world.
Many people would refer to this as CSAM, child sexual abuse material.
They are suffering, and they don't think that anyone is coming to help them. But we can. We can build that army, and we can go get them.
Come be a part of this team that is trying to push back this evil.